Hi there, I'm Andrea Koppel, and it's Time for Coffee, the podcast where you get to hear firsthand what the jobs and careers that interest you the most are really like. Hey there, Java junkies. Welcome to another K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. By the way, K-Cups come in 3 sizes, single, double, and triple shots, or roughly 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes in length. So if you don't have time to throw back an entire caffeinated career conversation, these K-Cup mini episodes of T4C can give you a quick caffeinated fix, whether you're on the go or you only have a few minutes to binge. So grab your mug and take a chug, because it's time for a caffeinated career double shot K-Cup with my guest, Casey Neer. So before I ask you what it was like to work as a college admissions counselor, which you did for, I guess it was a little under 2 years. I'd like to ask you about a rather unusual but super brave and exciting thing you did for a year. And it was in 2016. You'd been working at CollegeWise the first time for about 3 years. And you left. You quit your job. Can you share with our listeners what you did and what that experience was like for you?
Of course. It was the best decision I ever made. And one of the, and I say hardest, very deeply caveated, knowing that I had a lot of privileges that enabled and empowered me to make that choice, which is that I quit my job. I sold everything that I owned. I packed it into a suitcase and I left everything with my very, very wonderful mother, who was storing both my things and my cat, who I lovingly abandoned with her. And I went backpacking. So I had a bit of my own Eat, Pray, Love experience. And I used the program Workaway, which is a work exchange. So you can work in exchange for room and board around the world. So I did that all over. And I wrote as I worked. So I had a little bit of money coming in on varying blogs and wrote about my experiences, but mostly just did a lot of, I worked in hostels. I cleaned hostel showers. I cooked in inns in the south of France. I chopped vegetables in northern Italy. I did a lot of random odd jobs, but it was an experience I had long needed or I guess should say wanted. I hadn't studied abroad in college and always had wanted to scratch that itch. And I was about to turn 30 and felt like, well, this is the time. And I loved my job. And I also felt like I needed to leave it. And that was a weird crossroads to stand in.
And you went by yourself.
Yeah. Yep. I did start with a partner, but I did pivot about halfway through and then it was just me. So there was a lot of life stuff happening, but it was really, really empowering and I really loved and I missed traveling on my own, actually. I encourage any young women listening to please consider it and that there are far more other women out there doing it than you often realize. I ran into many, many women at either their quarter life, midlife, or later life crisis doing similar things from all over the world. And that was pretty interesting to see.
So I asked you at the beginning if you had a favorite coffee. What about a favorite country?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I did mention New Zealand at the beginning, and my now husband also lived there for 2 years. So that has a soft spot for me. But favorite city, I would say, has been Amsterdam. I've gone there in varying seasons, and it just continues to be so beautiful and so charming and very walkable. So I think that's probably one of my favorites and most I want to return to pretty much constantly.
Love it. And for those of you who've never been to Amsterdam, one of the hidden secrets, I guess, is the fact that it is full of these beautiful canals. So it's like Venice, Italy. You can go all over the place on these longboats. Underneath beautiful bridges, and I couldn't agree more. It is such a beautiful city, and they also have amazing Indonesian food there.
Yes, there's a lot of really great food that people don't expect there. So it's, yes, very, very much recommend. And sometimes there's really great deals on flights from the East Coast, but it is definitely not a cheap place to travel to once you're there. So just be mindful.
Thanks for tuning in to this K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. If you want to listen to our entire caffeinated career conversation, please check out the show notes for this episode. Thanks so much for listening to Time for Coffee, where the professionals in the jobs that most interest you always have time to grab coffee, 24/7, no matter where you live. I have one quick favor to ask you. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Time for Coffee. Thanks so much.